Hello and welcome to the Cowboys Takeover podcast. It is week 11. Man, it's week 11 already. Aaron, when I'm driving home from work, it's already dark out, dude. That's the season we're in. We just got out of spooky season. Now we're in it's getting dark way too early season. It's tough.
Yeah.
When you're looking out the back, you got the nice window seat at work. You turn around and it's dark. It's a terrible time. It's cold. You're going outside. It's going to be a little chilly at night,
Yeah, got to come in with that. Do you rock the sweater vest? Are you a fan of the vest or the jacket? What are you doing?
So, well, I'm a big sweatshirt guy. I've always been a
Okay.
big sweatshirt guy. I gotta, now that I'm moving up into management, I might go the sweater vest. Maybe do like the polo or whatever over the button down. Get the sweater
Mhm.
over the button down, the V-neck.
Mhm.
Maybe up it a little bit now that I'm management. Got to
Yeah.
impress, but I'm always listen. I like the sweater, or I do prefer the sweatshirt, and then when it gets really cold, I got my Phillies jacket over top.
Okay.
I tend to be strictly a sweatshirt guy. I don't really care for the jacket.
Well, sweatshirt is convenient for several reasons. In particular, if you don't have time to iron your dress shirt.
It's beautiful, and dude, I can't tell you how many days that's come in handy. Sweatshirts on all day in those situations. Many,
Yeah.
many. There's been many a work days. People ask me if I actually put a button down on underneath it because I used to not take my sweatshirt off all day. They're like, "Are you really doing business casual?" It's like, yeah, I still dress up. I just because in some of the rooms it's freezing. I don't know why. Even in the building now, it's cold. Like in the summer, it got really cold. Once they shut the shades because it's an all glass building, it got really cold. And like I'm right underneath the vents. So and it's freezing now. It's very upsetting. I don't like it.
I would rock the scarf in Jersey.
In the office?
Not in the office.
Well, dude. Well, you're always dapper, bro. You always were dapper out here. Like I want to get the pea coat, but last time I got a pea coat, like I think I got it way too small and it just looked obnoxious and it really turned me off on pea coats. I don't know. I'm trying to up my game because I see all these people are looking fancy and I'm just, Joe Blow over here with a jacket on. I want to look good. I want to get the
Yeah.
nice scarf. I
Uh-huh.
don't know how to do it though, Aaron. I don't know. Yeah, what's it like out there? Is it nice and warm out there still?
Today was like in the mid 60s was the high.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's free.
it's nice.
Was
And
was there
the
a good breeze?
car, inside the car, it's still toasty because the sun's still
Oh
pretty
yeah.
strong. So I can get easy. I'm rocking my Patagonia short sleeve vest.
Yeah, that's not. I need that. I need spring here already. I'm already upset. But that's not why we're here today. It's a nice little banter back and forth to get our minds off the season that's been so far. The 3-6 Cowboys are playing at home again this week against a pretty formidable Houston Texans team. I think this one on the schedule looked much better beginning the season. You had an up and coming Houston Texans team led by that, the pretty standout. Well, I think he won Rookie of the Year last year, didn't he? In CJ Stroud, and they're missing some weapons. Diggs is hurt. You don't know what Tank Dell's going to do. He's questionable, but they did upgrade their running back situation in the offseason, and a guy I really wanted Dallas to go after. I thought would have been a good move. He's that next level, I think, running back. Always very consistent, though. He's been very consistent in Joe Mixon. A guy I would have loved because I think they gave up a lower round draft pick for him. I think that would have been perfect for Dallas. They signed him, so that I think the difficulty would have been signing him. I think he did sign an extension with them. But he's always a very reliable running back. When you're looking this week and you look at Houston, Aaron, what have you seen so far this season? What do you think their big strengths are? Kind of what they do well.
Yeah, well, they didn't seem to lose a step, gaining momentum off of last year. And last year they overachieved expectations in a big way because CJ Stroud was a stud, and even with that overachievement, they were aggressive in the offseason and brought on uh, Trayvon Diggs. No, Stephon Diggs. And Stefan's out for the year with a torn ACL, I believe it is. I was on my fantasy, and he was having a pretty good year. And so it was decided to see him get hurt and leave. And like you said, they bring in Joe Mixon. So, and the recent game, they had the Detroit Lions on the ropes. These guys, they put on a show. They can light it up even with what they have now. And Nico Collins, I was really suspicious of him last year, and I'm like, I don't know, is this guy for real? This guy's a true number one. For
He definitely impressed.
Yeah, and so he has 500, and he's only played 5 games and has 567 receiving yards so far. But Tank Dell compliments him, I think, really nice. And I kind of felt bad for Dell when Diggs entered the team, joined the team, because it was going to mean lesser reps for him. And then we know that Dalton Schultz, I don't know if he signed a multi-year agreement, but it was a 1-year deal last year. And he's still as nifty and in running his routes. He's at let's see, he is at 48 targets, which is currently third on the team. Only 310 total yards, but I've seen a couple of their games, and he still has great hands. And it does really make me think like how we would be doing had he stayed on the team. Because I do think he has the edge on Ferguson. It pains me to say. But Joe Mixon really, opens things up even more so than what they had last year.
Yeah.
For the Texans in a big way. And we're gonna have our hands full. Even with our full squad coming into the season, we were both kind of like, well, we should come out with a W, but given where our team is and the amount of weapons they have, I mean, I think we're in for another long day.
Yeah. And when you're looking at Houston, their offense is middle of the pack, which, listen, you still got, he's only a second year quarterback. They did, like you said, they brought in Diggs to really try to bolster that pass game and try to give, get Stroud to that next step. You bring in Joe Mixon, in the offseason, man, that's, you really, once you get a run game, I think that's the most important thing for a young quarterback. And that's been impressive, but they're middle of the pack still, both of them. Where they really stand out too is their defense. They're top 10 in both passing and rushing in the league. They're third in pass defense. So they're a team that's really going to shut you down. They're not going to give up a lot of big plays. They only give up 170 passing yards a game. I'm sorry, that's wrong. 288, which is third in the league. I don't know where I got 170 from. That's bad. But they, and in turn, they do give up, 113 rushing yards a game, which is a little bit, but Dallas doesn't rush, but they really shut down the pass. So that's something this week. It's going to be tough because, I think you're going to have to score. And when you kind of look at what Cooper Rush did last week, you're not sure because they're going to take it away. They're really good. They're just a very good overall team, and they can beat you in many ways. CJ Stroud can beat you. They can beat you with the running game. And on top of that, they're a team that doesn't give up a lot of yards on the back end. So Dallas is really going to have to make the most of their opportunities this week. But they, like you said, they're in for a tough challenge because Houston overall is just a very good team. They're 6-4. They are fighting for kind of their division. They're kind of leading the way, and you kind of they're going for a seed. They're right there at the top. They're right behind Pittsburgh for that third overall seed in the AFC or the NFC. Yeah, the AFC. So this is a game, they really want. It's that in-state rival. They're looked at as little brother. So this is a big game. I think they're going to want to come in and make a statement this week. So it's going to be tough. They do have a lot of ways to beat Dallas this week. And you flip on to the other side, Aaron. Um, man, when you look at, I was trying to. I've been all week, since our post game last week. After really seeing uh, what Cooper Rush did last week, trying to think of the positives for this week. To me, how soon do you pull the plug on Cooper Rush? I think is the question. Because to me last week, I think you should have pulled him at half. Um, man, if he looks like he did last week, the first drive or two, are you pulling him right away?
Me, yes. McCarthy, no.
That hurts, man. That one's tough. Come on. No
It is
faith?
tough because you can't mess with the confidence of your QB, and you can't uh, for lack of a better word, be wishy-washy with, "Hey, I'm going to put you in, but if you stink it up, I'm going to take you right out." Like that can't be the mentality of your starting quarterback coming into the game.
Yeah, but I look at it, you're not doing it to Dak Prescott. You're not doing it. This is a team that's 3-6. Cooper Rush isn't a guy that's going to be, I believe, he's not a starting caliber quarterback in this NFL. So to me, I don't care how it looks, how you feel mentally. He's there to be a backup to Dak Prescott. To me, that's my opinion. And I understand, correct. Yes. If he was a rookie coming in one of those situations, I 1,000% agree with you. But to me, you're probably right. McCarthy's not going to do it. I think the kid should start this week. But I agree with you. I give him about a snap or a drive or two, man. And I think you got to see what you have in him. You got to give the kid legitimate reps.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say. Look, it depends on if you're McCarthy, you have to be giving Lance at least 30% or 40% of the reps in practice. You don't want him to come in too cold, because you want to, he should have voiced, like a week by week competition. We're gonna evaluate at practice, and whoever has the best week of preparation is gonna get the start. Something along those lines. I think at the same time, I guess one of the downsides potentially of playing Trey Lance at this point, I believe he's going to be an unrestricted free agent after this season. So he just becomes more of an expensive QB if he is backup QB, if he's a productive second half of the season.
Yeah, but I think to that point, even I don't know how long Rush is signed for, but to me, I'd rather know what I have if I'm going to pay him and keep him around. Yes, you lose the risk of the kid looking very good and somebody else taking him. But if I don't know what he is, I know, like you said, are they going to sign him? I think they want to know in their heads, and I think the best way to do that, because as bad as it looks, if they run the table, there's still an opportunity. And I don't I know. Listen, even if Dak was in, I don't think it could happen. I know it wouldn't happen. I'm just saying. I watched a movie the other day. It's a baseball movie, but it's Angels in the Outfield. And the old man's like, "Listen, kid, the Angels win the pennant. We'll be a family." Kid wished for an angel, and it happened. So maybe, hey,
yeah,
it could happen. And to me, you got to see. I think Lance gives you that. I think his ability to run and really open it up that way, I think that would help the run game and make Dallas a little more, not so we know we're passing, we know what we have to do. The problem is can he, how accurate is he? Can he make the throws? And that's the problem. But if you're playing week by week, I think you play both of them. Even if you go a series, let's see what you have, switch it up, make a team prepare for both at that point. I know it's weird, but I remember 2010, it's totally different. But when we saw the Wildcat, nobody really knew. There's never been really a team you're throwing two quarterbacks out there. You know what? I got to do what I got to do right now to win, see what I have. Um, and then defensively, it's tough. I think I'm not as worried. I think you put Diggs on Dell and you focus on stopping Joe Mixon. I think if you can make it ugly and you can stop Joe Mixon, Mike has shown he still can play. I think the defensive performance last week in the first half showed that this defense still has life. So a lot of it comes down to it's tough there now because now you're saying, do you chase points if you're McCarthy, or do you take what you have and hope the defense can hold? What do you look at when you, because we've seen him I feel like we've seen him chase a lot this year, and it really kicked us in the butt late in games. But now that you don't have Dak, do you think he chases more, or he plays it more conservative in those situations?
I think he will keep the same aggressiveness to him that he's had all season long, because I think it's what Jerry likes to see. So I
That makes
expect
sense.
I expect we'll see probably one or two like 4th and 1s on our own territory where we go for a QB sneak or some sort of play. And
Yeah,
let's be honest, and a lot of times we're in desperation to keep drives alive. Um,
that's
we
true.
probably we
That's very
probably
true.
we probably lead the league in 3 and outs.
It's been a
Um,
lot. It's been
and
so many.
yeah, and so I expect Mike McCarthy to be to maintain the aggressiveness. And then one more point I wanted to make on Lance was that the team actually has more vested in him than Rush. Right? We gave up the the draft pick, and he's a higher cap hit than
Oh
Rush.
yeah.
So from that standpoint, we're more vested in him. I think, just play the dude.
Yeah, at this point, like I don't see a reason. You did go out and trade for him. You're 100% right. Why spend all of that and go out and get the kid just to keep him on the bench? Especially like I know you didn't want it, but the perfect storm of events happened for you to play the kid. So
Mhm.
I don't think there's a downside in that because Rush, if he doesn't play well, Rush is probably going to be the backup again next year. So I don't think you can worry too much about it. Um, but yeah, it you look at it, it's going to be tough offensively. I think that's where you struggle. I know a couple of the offensive linemen, Tyler Smith and Zach Martin, are both questionable. There's Ferg. He missed practice with an illness, so you hope, you don't know how bad it is, but there's a lot of those people that are questionable as well. So it just really depends on who's playing.
Mhm.
If you're missing some offensive linemen, Houston has Daniil Hunter, who's still a very good pass rusher. Will Anderson's questionable, but he's also a very good pass rusher. So they are just aren't a top 10 defense if you're not loaded pretty much on defense and have very good players.
Yeah, and we have 3 games in what I think it is almost 10 days or so, where we have, or 12 days. We have Monday night, Sunday, and then Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's a tough one coming up.
It's a tough stretch.
It really is, and especially for a team. Listen, if you want to talk about value, Dak is. It's tough to say this year because he didn't look great, but he is a very valuable piece. I don't think he's
Mhm.
a Super Bowl winning quarter. He's not a quarterback that can get you there, but he is a quarterback that could beat up some of these teams. And I think so, like you said, I do believe. Looking at it now, do I think we win last week with Dak there? I do not. But I think early in that game, it makes a big difference. If they could have gotten out to a big lead early with the way that defense was playing, maybe it is a different game. Um, but I just my prediction this week is just a loss. I don't want to even predict the score because I don't like at this point it's tough. I don't see them. There's not a lot of games the rest of this season. Like man, when you look at the rest of this schedule, it really you might be in 2 of the games
Mm.
without Dak. It really because we have Houston, you got Washington coming up. Washington and Philly are playing right now. Um, So you got Washington, and then on Thanksgiving, you get a saving grace for Thanksgiving. You get the New York Giants. But right now, I don't know if that even is because we barely beat them with Dak Prescott. So it's man, it's tough. I actually hope for losses at this point. At this point, just lose out and get a very good draft pick. I heard Rex Ryan talking about, Dallas getting a pretty good draft pick, taking Shadur, going to Coach Prime. Man, is that something you would even think about?
No, no, you can't. You can't think about that when you are married to a QB for the next 4 years.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But I just want to get rid of Dak.
So,
Listen,
I mean, the best you could do and hope for is to bench him and then have him command a trade on his terms, and he decides where he goes. That's what you would pray for if you pick up the QB. But I've been seeing posts that allude to if you don't get a top 8 pick, like it's not going to help you as much. Like if we end up at pick number 10 or 11.
I saw something that showed what's his name? Genty, I think. I think that Genty from Boise. They had him going to Dallas at 11. Around 11. So,
Mhm.
listen, I don't know if that's a pick. I think that's more of a luxury pick. I think that to me that's a team that like when they took Zeke. You're that level. You have a very great defense. You're just a running back away. And at that point, it's done because they did lose Romo. But I think that's to me, there's too much. I think you're right. It's tough to even talk about any real weapon pieces. I know
Mhm.
a lot of people want a running back, but I think that smart money shouldn't be on that. You hope they play. You hope a management does the right thing. But man, let's stop talking about it. That. We're talking about draft picks now. It's that's the type of season we're having, right?
It
It's
is, and it's unfortunate. And well, one more comment around that is we got to make sure we secure Zach Martin. Otherwise, that's going to be probably where my draft pick goes, and it pains me to say. And so, we'll kind of see how things shake out. But I haven't really made up my mind as to whether I want to go, running back, receiver, defensive tackle, or offensive lineman. I can't.
I think it depends on what happens. I think you're right with Zach Martin. The problem is right now he is the third highest paid. I think I'm sorry, he's fourth right now. So the only saving grace I think Cowboys have with that is if you look at all the dudes around them 27, 28, 25, 26, 28, 30, 31, and he's 34. So you hope maybe he takes a hometown discount, but he may command 20 million next year on that contract, which is going to be tough. Because with paying, Dallas has been handing out money hand over fist. So I don't know. You're right. You hope kind of maybe they can work something out, but it may be tough. And he may want to go play for a winner. No, I'm not saying
Mhm.
if there's some teams out there, man, he may take a pay cut to go to a team like a Kansas City, a Buffalo, more well established and try to get himself a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
But so what is your prediction? To me, I think it's going to be bad. I think a lot of these weeks, I think Houston probably puts it on them. I think it's a 3+ score game. And what do you think in this week?
Okay. I think it's going to look a lot like our other games where it appears like we're in it the first half. It's a one possession game at halftime. Maybe we have the lead with like a 10-6 or a 13-7 type of situation. And then we probably end up losing by, I'm going to say 13 points.
I will make one edit to my pick. I still think I'm going to say if Cooper Rush plays the whole game, we lose. If Trey Lance comes in when it's a 7-point game in the first half, I think Dallas wins the game. I think if Trey Lance plays most of the game, I think we have a better shot. Because the defense has me excited. When I saw the first half, I think if we could put up some points, and to me, I think Trey Lance is the guy. If we see Trey Lance out early in the first half, if you see Cooper struggle that first drive, and he makes the decision to put Trey Lance in, I think we win that game. If you see Trey Lance first 2 drives, we'll win it. Take that to the bank.
We talked about some kind of momentum for our opponents coming into these games, and like they lost last week. The Texans did to Detroit with Goff throwing 5 interceptions. So after a game like that, you go through everything with a fine comb, and you're like, we're not losing against the Cowboys. Like, I think it makes this game even that more dangerous for us to try to come up with an upset. If they had they beat Detroit Lions, I think, okay, they might be flying a little bit high here. So we have a chance for an upset.
Aaron, you're supposed to be the optimistic one here, bud. I'm here, like I'm over here calling wins, Trey Lance's, and you're throwing. I don't need that from you, right? I need your positivity.
You're saying that because Lance ain't gonna get the snap, so you're just
I know. Yeah, but if he does and it hits, I look great though, don't I? It looks good. But I truly believe it. I think with Lance's in, I think he gives us a more capable, a little more dynamic offense. Because even what you showed when Dak was making plays when he was moving, the problem is when he ran, he blew out his hamstring. So, double-edged, which is bad. Like that makes it even worse. If you were talking about this season, he looks bad and and that makes that contract even worse now because he's a guy. It's tough. Yeah, he was a guy that when he's looking great was able to move. So him blowing out his hamstring looks worse now. So
yeah, and blowing out his hamstring is an understatement. Because it just like came off the bone.
Ripped off the bone. Yeah. So man, it feels like it's going to be a lot of these shows coming up here, guys. And I'm sorry for all the listen. It can't be all positive and rainbows now. It's we could try to bring. I thought Aaron's would be a little more positive and. When I went for the win and he just went negative on me, I felt even worse. So, but we appreciate everyone for checking us out again, man. This week, I know this is going to be a rough rest of the season, guys, but we're going to stick it out. That's what we do. We're still fans. We're still going to watch every Sunday, and we know all of you are as well. So thank you. Thank everyone for watching. If you're checking us out on the Ring the Bell Network, the Cowboys Takeover Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you guys are checking us out, we really appreciate it. Really thank each and every one of you. And again, like, subscribe, hit the notification. So when we go live, you can all give us a listen, give us a shout, leave a comment. We really appreciate it. Thank you again. We'll be back Sunday, Monday, normal times to do the post game. Listen, hoping it's a win. We can be thankful. We can be thankful for that. We can hope for it. But it's looking tough. It might be a tough rest of the season, guys. Even Daniel Jones might beat us. And that's not good. So appreciate it. Love you guys. Till Sunday or Monday. Let's go Cowboys. We have the positivity till then. Enjoy your week wherever you are. Enjoy the weekend. Be good.